QuickBooks already allows you to designate a preferred vendor for each of your inventory and non-inventory items. But some businesses buy the same items from multiple different vendors depending on the pricing and availability of what they need. In the past, the only way to know which vendor was the best choice in a given situation was to track the differences manually outside of QuickBooks. The latest year of QuickBooks Enterprise introduces alternate vendors, a feature that allows you to compare prices, lead times, and more for each of the vendors you could buy an item from. This is an advanced feature, so it requires some special setup. First, you'll need to enter some data. There's a new list called the Vendor Items list that can be accessed from the Add Edit Multiple List Entries screen. You can find this under the Lists menu. Set your list type to Vendor Items, and then select the vendor you want to enter data for. The item name you enter has to exactly match the name of an inventory or a non-inventory part in your main item list. Services and other charges aren't eligible for this feature. The purchased units of measurement should also match the type you use for the existing item, if applicable. Everything else is unique to this vendor. Enter the price that they sell this item for, the lead time required in days, the vendor part number, if different from the manufacturer's part number, and any notes you want to be able to reference. You can enter items one by one this way, or you can copy and paste from an Excel spreadsheet. When you click Save Changes, QuickBooks will show you any items that have errors preventing them from being recorded. Once you've corrected the errors, click Save Changes again to finish entering them. Alternatively, you can set up your vendor items using Advanced Import, found under File, Utilities, Import. You'll select No when QuickBooks asks if you're looking for the Add Edit Multiple List Entries screen. To set up vendor items using Advanced Import, start by preparing an Excel spreadsheet with a column for each field. Then, set up a new mapping to match them to each other. Once it's ready, click Import to start the process. If any records fail to import, you'll have the option to save an error log for your review. You can correct the errors right there in the error log spreadsheet, and then re-import it. Once your vendor items have been set up, you'll visit the main item list to designate the primary alternate vendors for each item. Double-click an item to edit it. If at least 2 of your vendors have corresponding vendor items, you'll see a new option below the Preferred Vendor dropdown called Alternate Vendor. Click the Manage button to access it. The window that opens shows your entire vendor list, with price, lead time, and other vendor item fields filled out for each vendor that sells them. Use the drop-downs in the status column to designate vendors as alternate or none. You can see the preferred vendor in this screen, but you can't change it. That has to be done in the main Edit Item window. You can designate up to 4 alternate vendors for each item. This feature comes into play when you create a purchase order for one of these vendor items. When you click on a line item, you'll see a new symbol in the rate column that you can click to view the Compare Vendors window. It shows your preferred and alternate vendors, and the individual item details you set for each of them. You can also use the item name dropdown to view a different item in this screen. The Compare Vendors window is read-only. It's there for reference to help you decide which vendor you want to place this purchase order for. Be aware that the rate that QuickBooks automatically fills in for each of these line items is based only on the cost you set for the main item. The Alternate Vendors feature does not automatically fill in that specific vendor's price. You'll have to do that manually after referencing the Compare Vendors window. Although it takes a lot of setup, Alternate Vendors centralizes all your vendors' different prices and item specifications for easy reference from within QuickBooks. You can use this to help you and your employees make faster, better informed decisions about where to place your next purchase order.